Hi. I have a GE profile, model PFE29PSDASS. Both water and ice not dispensing. Changed filter, also put in filter plug. Check supply to fridge, it's fine. Can hear motor when depress dispenser, just no water coming. Any ideas on what to try next? Thanks.
You'll need to know how to use a voltmeter here. I can help you through a diagnosis tomorrow, so post back if you are so equipped.
I should have one by this evening. I'm not completely familiar with using one, but looks pretty straightforward. We'll let you know when I have one.
Okay. YouTube has many videos on how to use, so watch one.
Sorry for delay. Managing bigger issues than broken water dispenser last few weeks. We'll get back to you soon.
Whenever you are ready.
Okay. I am finally getting back to this. I have the voltmeter. Can you let me know what my next steps would be? Often I am ready to tackle this at odd hours, and it would be helpful to have the info available then. Thank you.
At the back of the fridge you will see a water line that runs up. Disconnect it from coupling and have a glass. Place the line in the glass and have someone call for water. Let me know if there is flow or not. If the flow is fine, then the problem will be in the door and we can proceed to the next step. I do not want to waste a lot of time typing stuff that does not apply, so I will await your reply.
Yes. We have tried that already and water flow is fine.
In the door is a water valve at the bottom area. Take off the access panel to expose it. Take off the white line from it and see how the flow is. This line comes from the filter. You will need to keep the door switch closed or else the water valve may not energize.
I have attached a photo of the assembly behind the access panel. I disconnected the white line on the far left. There is definitely water in the line. Can you confirm that I checked the correct line?
That is the wrong line. The white line is on the right end.
Okay. I will check that one. Just FYI, not sure if it matters, but when I removed the line on the left and tried to dispense water, there was a gurgling sound from the line. You can hear the motor running as well. We'll try the line on the right now.
Okay. That line is what supplies the water to both items.
Just to clarify, there are 4 lines involved here. 2 translucent, 1 black and 1 white. The white one that enters the valve on the right end is almost impossible to remove based on its location. I am very concerned that I will break one of the neighboring parts trying to disconnect it. There is only about 1 inch to work with, and I have very small fingers.
That is what feeds the valve, so this will tell me if the valve is bad or your filter base has some problem. It should not break as it will pull right out just like the other line you removed. Take the valve loose and the other lines if that makes it easier.
Releasing the valve helped. No water came out of the white line that feeds the valve from the right-hand side. Door sensor was depressed, the motor made a sound, but no water.
There are only two possibilities here: then the water tank in the door is frozen, which I doubt, or the filter base is bad. So, if the tank is not frozen, then the filter base would need replacing. There is no doubt that you have water going into the door.
I'm concerned that I did something incorrectly. Can you tell me what the translucent line on the left that feeds the valve on the left is for? There is water there and in the reservoir. Is this fed by the external water line? How would I know if the water tank in the door is frozen? And would it be frozen suddenly and stay frozen for weeks? What is the filter base? Also, where should I have had water coming out if the water valve was the problem?
The water tank would only affect the dispenser, not the ice making. Your food is not frozen, so the tank would not be colder than the surroundings, but I cover all the bases. The water line on the left is for the dispenser. The flow comes out of that valve and through the tank. The far right white line is what supplies the water into the valve. The filter base is what your filter fits to.
Thank you. What is the black line? And when the water leaves the valve through the clear line on the left and goes through the water reservoir, it exits the reservoir through another clear line on the right side. Where does that go? I think I'm not understanding how there can be water in the clear lines to the dispenser and in the reservoir, but no water coming out of the dispenser.
The black line fills the I/MKR and the water tank line feeds your dispenser. That is why the valve you see has two coils on it. One valve for each item. You have no pressure feeding the valve. The water in the tank does not just drain out and go empty here.
I'm not sure what to do at this point. Feels difficult to remove that line and not at all sure how I would be able to reconnect it to the manifold in the door by the filter base. I see now. Is changing the filter base an easy task?
Yes, just disconnect the line at the back of the fridge and the white line on the valve to allow slack. The filter door comes off by pressing a tab on the back by the hinge, then the filter base can be unfastened and then it slides up to disengage. For kicks, you can get a piece of 1/4 inch tubing and feed the valve directly from the line at the back. This will prove that nothing else is wrong, as you will have pressure to that valve. This would be for test purposes only, of course.
Thanks. I can't locate a part called the filter base online. Is this a common part to fail?
I believe they call it a manifold. It is easy to see on any lookup. I have not had to replace one. I don't see many of this model. You can always pull the base out and make sure you have flow to eliminate the possibility of a frozen line. There are no issues with frozen lines, but I suppose it would not hurt to check that just to avoid buying something unneeded.
Good idea. So if I pull out the filter base, I should get water flowing out of where it was connected. Do I need to depress anything? Can you give me details on pulling out the filter base? I have unscrewed it and pushed it up, but it is not coming out. Do I need to force the hoses loose? Not at all sure what should be happening.
Correct. The water would of course go in the base, through the filter, then out through the base to the valve. Call for water to check the flow just as before. Blowing through a line is a quick way of telling if it's open or not. You need to take the cover off the top hinge to allow the feed line to move enough, so pull the line out from the top where you see it. The base comes out as I described. The lines need to move, of course.
Not sure how to remove the cover and what piece you are actually referring to. There is a gray component that sits in a white component. There are no screws, not sure how to separate them, if that is what I should be separating.
Remove the piece at the top of the fridge that covers the hinges. The water line comes out of the top and then goes into the door through the hinge. I have thus far spent lots of time here, yet I see no rating. Seeing one would make me feel bitter about spending all this time with you.
I was unaware that I was supposed to be rating throughout the process. It says rate to finish, and I thought the rating was for the finish when problem was resolved. This is my first time using this service, and I apologize if I am using it incorrectly. I requested high detail but low priority because I am unfamiliar with fixing refrigerators.
Thanks. I get taken advantage of way often, so sometimes I make sure I am not doing something for nothing. Let me know if anything else is needed.
I will definitely pay. I actually thought I already had, didn't realize you haven't received it yet. When I remove the top hinge, there is what looks like a water line in a metal spring-like casing that is cable tied with a bunch of wires, all leading down into the door. I'm not sure what to do at this point. Feels difficult to remove that line, and not at all sure how I would be able to reconnect it to the manifold in the door by the filter base. I'm sorry, but I am also still confused about filter base removal. I also understand if you would rather be watching TV or doing something else this evening. It can wait for another time if that works for you. I'm getting a little frustrated and overwhelmed myself. It's starting to feel beyond my ability.
I am fine. There are 5 screws that hold the top cover in place. Remove them, then pop the tabs that go over off the hinges and the whole panel comes off. Get slack in the water line and then the filter base can be pulled out as much as you want.
I attached a photo of what I see when I took off the cover. I can't get any slack in the water line, assuming it is the one white tube there. Am I doing something wrong?
You need to disconnect it at the back where the coupling is and pull it out from the top to get the slack.
Okay. Thanks. Feel stupid for not realizing that. Don't have anyone to help me pull out the fridge from its location tonight. We'll try tomorrow a.m. Once I have slack in the line and can pull the filter base out more easily, will it be easy to disconnect the lines from the base? I can't see an easy way to separate them. They don't have the same connection as the lines to the valve. Tried just pulling, but am concerned that I will break something.
I don't think the lines can be detached from that part. I am unsure if there are small stops inside of the fittings that the filter fits into which would prevent any drips or leaks when the filter is taken out. If there are, then you can take a small screwdriver and depress them and see if you can blow through the tubing to verify that there is no ice blockage, or you can leave this off for a few hours with the ice room door open, as any ice would surely melt away.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.